Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to Microsoft's Java for Beginners series. My name is Brian Benz, and I'm a cloud advocate at Microsoft. I'm joined by Kirk Pepperdine today. He's going to talk to us about classes and packages. Kirk, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you'll be talking about?
Hi, Brian. Thanks for having me here. I'm a principal engineer in the Java engineering group, and we're responsible for building and contributing to OpenJDK. In this series, I'm going to look at the different ways that the JVM loads code into the runtime. In the first video, I'm going to explore the fundamentals. This presentation is a brief introduction into the mechanics of Java classes, Java packages, and how they come together to form a protocol that is used by the Java virtual machine's runtime. Let's start the discussion by reviewing the features found in the source code for a simple Java application. Here I've brought up a terminal window, and as you can see, we have a file here, person.java. So let's open the file. Looking into the source code, the first thing to notice is the class declaration. The class declaration will contain the simple name of the class. In this case, it's person. The other bits in here are the fields that we've declared to hold internal state. We have a constructor, which we're going to call to create a new instance of person. We have methods. In this case, we have a single method, which is a getter, which will reveal the internal state of this object. At the top, we're going to declare a package name. Now, the package name and the simple name come together to create what's known as a fully qualified name. And it's this fully qualified name that is going to form the namespace in the Java runtime. The final feature to look in here is the entry point. This is the main method. The runtime is going to be handed the fully qualified name of a class, and through some magic, which we'll explain in a minute, it's going to find this main method and it's going to start executing your Java application from this main method. So let's unpack some of the magic that happens in order to get this class executed. We're going to use Java C in this case to create this person.class file from the person.java file. We're also going to need something else to make all of this happen, and that's known as a class loader. So how this works is that the execution engine is going to reference person.class. The reference is going to go out to the class loader where it's going to say, okay, do I have this person.class cached in memory? Or do I need to go out into the file system and find it? If I need to go out into the file system and find it, then it's going to use the fully qualified name to find person.class. It's then going to lift that class from disk, and it's going to load it into memory, and then it's going to make that class available to the runtime. Let's experiment with this person class to see how it all comes together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say Java C person.java. And if we look here, it's going to produce this person class. If we look into the person class, it looks like it's mostly unreadable, and that's because there's some binary components here. But there are some features that we can easily pick out. For instance, if we go down a ways, we can see that we have way over on the left-hand side this thing called source file with a @a, @k, and then we have person.java. So the source file, the name of the source file is embedded in here. If we go further along that line, we can see that there's a com/model/person. So this represents the fully qualified name for this class. Now to run it, there's a few things we have to do. So we're going to call Java. And I have to tell the class loader where to go looking for the classes. So in order to do that, I'm going to use this parameter here known as a class path. So the class path will be passed to the class loader so it knows how to find classes. In this case, the class is in the current working directory. And so we're just going to dot that there. Now I'm going to give it the fully qualified class name, right? And this is going to run, and boom, we get an error. Could not find or load the main class com.model.person. Okay, well, the file here is named person.class, so maybe what we can do is we can just shorten, go off the fully qualified name and just use the short name, and surely this will load. But as we see when we run it, we really can't find that class. And the reason why we can't find the class is because the way that the main class loader work is it's going to translate the fully qualified class name into the package component, which is going to turn into directories on the file system. And then, of course, the simple class name, it's going to create a class file from that. So it's going to be person.class in this case, as we've seen here. The issue we have here is that we haven't told the compiler where we want these things to end up. So let's make a classes subdirectory. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to our compilation. And there's our Java C. And I'm going to add in a little parameter here. And I'm going to say -d. So my output directory for the compiled artifacts is going to be, well, in this case, the root directory. We don't want that. We actually just want the classes subdirectory. Now, what I'm going to do is take a look, and you can see that what it's done is it's done the right thing, the expected thing. It's actually created a com directory, a model directory, and it's dropped the person.class file in there. So now when I run Java, where's our last version of Java that we wrote here? Okay, actually the good one is going to be this one. We're not in the root directory anymore. We're actually in the classes directory. And we have the expected output. There is a requirement that we put the source for a class in a file that's named the simple name .java. And if we don't do that, then we're going to get a different set of errors. So let's check that out just for fun. So I'm going to vi person.java. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to very quickly just change the name of this class to something silly. So I've changed it here to person1. And then what I can do from this point in time is just try to compile it again. Where are we? There we are. Let's compile person.java. And you can see that we get this error that person1 is public and should be declared in a file named person1.java. Okay, so let's roll back on that particular change. And as we do that, let's start our discussion into how we can better organize our source code. Now, the different build tools that you would use, like we're using Java C here, raw, but typically you'd use a build tool to compile things, and they will enforce their own structure on you. But so I'm just going to come up with a simple one for the purpose of this example. So I'm just going to do a -p here. So we're going to put it into a source directory, com/model. Okay, so I'm going to create that, and I'm going to move person.java down into source com model, like this. Classes, I'm going to do an rm-rf com, so there's no artifacts in there, so we're perfectly clean. And I'm going to go back to Java C. Where are we? Okay, and I'm going to say, okay, so where's that file located? That's in the source directory, com model. Bang. And just as we did before, when we run this class, we're going to get the expected output.
Thanks, Kirk. That was great. Note that this is part one. There are two more parts to check out for classes and packages. And also, please check out the rest of the topics in the Java for Beginners series.
Thank you, Brian.